My content's not for kids.
Yeah, you just gotta press the button. I can press the fucking button.
This is the
Oh, press
behind
the
this.
button.
This is the behind the scenes now of where we decide who's gonna record
Welcome to the insanity.
it.
I'm gonna let you record it. You can feel it. No, I was thinking something that's more like kids in the hall style
hmm
with that what is that method acting type shit. You know what I'm saying? Where it's
Yeah,
like
where you take on different
natural,
like.
just yeah.
hmm
Because with all the shit going on nowadays, everybody in the 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 quarantine and the coronavirus. I'm like, I need a beer for this shit.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And then supposedly the corona beer factory shut down in Mexico, which I think I'm still thinking that that's a joke. I'm still thinking somebody's lying to me.
I did hear that a bunch of people were like, "I'm not gonna drink a Corona because if I do that, then I'm gonna get the virus." And I was like, "Dude, this has to be a joke. People can't really believe this, right?"
Mm.
I've been
I
wrong
mean, I've got
before.
like a million and one serious ideas and concepts, and then like forever and a day, I was just like, for like 3 weeks solid, I was like massive headache with this shit. I'm like,
Oh,
why is everybody feeding us so much power?
mhm.
So much power. And then all of a sudden, I had this funny idea. What if we made fun of it? You're not supposed
Oh.
to pick on the bully in the schoolyard, but if you did, sometimes you could bring the bully down a notch.
So do you think so we kind of started this behind the scenes. We've already started getting into some stuff that I would like to talk about. So do you think should I introduce you or does everyone on my channel already know who you are at this point?
I think everybody knows me.
I think you're right.
I mean, I know good and damn well everybody knows you, bro.
You know, the
I don't understand.
236.
Six.
That's
I
right.
know. I saw that. I was like, oh, this is what happens though when you react.
Yeah. That's
Instead of
yes.
just instead of just putting all your stuff as unlisted, private, and
Oh
leaving the
yeah.
channel alone. Hey, but you know what? I've just recently discovered that unlisted button.
You were at 7 something last time we talked, I think.
I'm at like 892 now.
Ooh, you're getting close to that 1,000.
Yes, I am.
That's the magic mark. That's what it was for me, at least. There was a point where I hit 1,000 in the old channel, and then it just was like do 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 do. It's like something in the algorithm was like, oh, people like your stuff. I'll put it in front of people. So I think there is something to that 1,000 subscriber thing.
Whenever I came back uh, to doing videos this year,
hmm
whenever that fucking was, because brother, I don't even take myself fucking seriously.
Right? Yeah.
I do what I fucking do. I'm
Right.
Waylon. Inside a magical circle, I am the sorcerer. Blah blah blah, yakety schmackety. But like, there are so many layers to who I am that just fuck. What are you gonna call it? I call it a mess, and it's called a Waylon.
Nice.
But but no, back when I first started the channel back up this year, when I was like, vision, focus for the future.
hmm Is that when you came up with the Sinister series?
Yeah.
hmm
Actually, I came up with Sinister series about a year and a half ago. I just didn't have a chance or opportunity. I was going through surgery and stuff, so I
Right.
didn't have my head in the right place to piece it together. Anyway, so coming back when I like took off the Sinister thing, I was like
hmm
700 and I want to say 730 something or 740 something. Brother, I saw 777 and I was like, that's my number. That's my fucking number.
Yep.
And I was like, I should do a giveaway. And I was like, no, 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 no. Wait for the greatness. Wait for the greatness. And then I was like, well, and then I saw 800 and I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool. Then I saw 888 and I was like,
hmm
oh my fucking gods, it's chaos triumph.
I'm telling
Triumph.
you though, you're gonna get that 1,000, and it's gonna then you're gonna do one of those videos like I did, where you're like 1,000, here's some kind of thank you, whatever, and then the next thing you're like, oh, it's like 2 months later, you're like 5,000, okay, I guess we're doing another one of it. That's how it worked for me.
I will tell you something funny. So I put on my channel what I want on my channel.
Yep,
I put who I want on my motherfucking channel. It's my motherfucking channel.
that's right.
It's
That's
my
why
goal.
you're on my channel right now.
right? But it's so funny though that recently, I've a couple of weeks now been a little dry on the sinister.
You've
Sinister.
had a couple interviews though.
Yeah. Actually, I've got some planned and I've got some future workings that I'm working on. Like I have my hands in like 5 cookie jars.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so a couple of weeks has gone by, and like the Sinister series is kind of it's not dead. It's not dead in the water, nothing like that. But it's just something I'm doing a few things and trying to work shit around.
Right.
And at any rate, so then I started putting out like really weird stuff, like a 2-hour conversation with me in Magicology on answering emails
About the Necronomicon.
Of the Necronomicon.
Yep.
All of a sudden, it was like the traffic stood still. Like there were fewer subscribers and shit like that. And I was like, I wonder how much I can fuck this up. So I decided I'm going to do a coffee with the Sorcerer interview.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought my buddy Drake Valentine on. And I was like, fuck yeah, because he's my spirit animal. Like I don't have, like if I had a spirit animal that was physical, Drake would be my fucking spirit animal.
Mm-hmm.
And dude's like right there. So, and I love the fact that he drinks coffee. He's just nonchalant, laid back, just, a font of knowledge and wisdom. And that's rare. You're not going to find that.
Right.
You don't find it. You have people with agendas and so forth and so on. So anyway, so I go and I do this thing and I throw it up there. And I think all of a sudden, I think that my viewers got scared all of a sudden. I think they were like, wait a minute. That's not Sinister. So I lost like 5 subscribers and I was like,
oh no, it's going down. That's the worst.
Quality, not quantity.
Mm.
And so anyway, so I've got to do a vampiric video on vampirism for Satania, which is a YouTube channel. Which I really like some of their works that they did with other people, like Joseph Nunn of Behemoth Eggs, so forth and so on. Like people talking about certain subjects. Well, they emailed me like 2.5 weeks ago. Like, hell, would you do it? Fuck yeah. 2.5 weeks later, I have been so fucking busy that I have yet to get to it. Now, here's the funny thing, is I have it all like wrote up and shit, you know what I'm saying? And, ready to do it. But like, I have to like find the time, in the middle of the night to like sit there and like, and that's where you have to go, well.
Right.
I'm going to be relying on them being the masters that they are at what they do to make me look good. That shouldn't be too hard because I'm a sexy motherfucker.
That's like it. And now you're growing some facial hair in here.
Oh, brother, gotta do that.
I feel like you're inspired by me.
You know what's funny is I thought about that the other day when I saw you. It's like, holy shit, are we all growing beards?
Yeah. Why? It's the time. That's it. It's time for real wizards to come out with some real wizard beards.
Come out wherever you are.
Yes, Lestat.
And because when I was, it was like, for example, when I was first approached by Satania, when I first got that thing, I was like, fuck yeah, I could do that, And, and the more and more I kept thinking on it, I'm like, I can't be an edgy motherfucker because I'm just Waylon, and whatever you get out of me, it's the uncolored truth.
Yeah, right.
You want to finger paint and shit, knock yourself out. You want to turn into a rainbow collage, knock yourself out. You want to make it all like dragons or demons, or if you want to turn it into angels or fae, knock yourself the fuck out. Do whatever the hell you want to with it. Make the magic your own. I just put the information out there. And that's been my only thing was like, I sat there for like over a week going, how the fuck am I going to present this? Because as a content creator for YouTube or even for my channel, I do come at it with a little bit of thought. I do think about fucking
right. You don't let yourself get worked up like Thomas Leroy then.
I don't know. I really like
because I know once in a while he gets on there and he's like, Baphomet is not a rainbow happy, and he like loses his mind about this. And those are some of my favorite videos, honestly.
I love Cult of
Cult of the Horn God.
Is it
Sect of the Horn God? Yeah.
Yeah. I really like that. I actually went and checked out their website. Because I wanted to see, who their gods are.
Oh yeah, and I'm subscribed. I listen to every one of his videos that comes out. I'm just saying, once in a while he gets like that wild hair up his ass about what somebody said. Somebody trying to make Satanism friendly. and
But I
accessible, and
understand.
he's like, mm-mm.
But you know what's funny is that I understand what he's actually saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do too.
The more out there you are, and the more saturated you make the ground of something, the more it loses its mystery,
Yeah.
the more it loses its secret, and secret is sacred.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that,
It
and I have to
dilutes
be
it,
careful.
sort of.
I have to be careful even in my Sinister series because I want to put knowledge out there. But see,
Mm-hmm.
I've been involved in so many different groups and so many different things that there are things I can't talk about.
Right.
There are things I can't say. You know what I'm saying? Uh, because when you're brought into the scene of a group, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you can give them credit for stuff, but you can't give away like it's not
Yeah.
necessarily the trade secrets, but you can't really give away too
Well, I
much
mean,
information.
it's also their thing. You know, like they're like, hey, here's the wall, the barrier. If you want this knowledge, come across this barrier. And if you come across the barrier and then bring the knowledge back out, it's kind of like breaking a trust.
Oh, it is, and I take oaths seriously. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care if they were. I don't care if I was drunk as fuck and made an oath. If I was sober and made an oath, I treat them all the same
Right.
because now there have been a couple of times I've gone back going, "What the hell were you thinking, Waylon?" You
Yeah.
know, I mean, there are certain things that I've done. I've sat there going, "Oh, I don't know if I should have did that," but it's like okay, and then you communicate with the spirits, and you explain to them, you're like, "Look, I was a little
They don't care.
fucked up," and I know that came from a particular part of me where I agree.
Yeah.
I do agree with like a lot of forces of power.
They don't care how fucked up you were. You made an agreement.
Yeah.
That's the way it is
So
for me. I mean, I know, I look at everything from a psychological model now, but it's still the same idea. If you're going to be the lead of your own psychological model or the king on the throne, as you might put it, you've got to be responsible for whatever it is you're putting out there, whatever it is you say.
yeah,
Doesn't matter what state you were in. That was your decision to get in that state before you made that agreement.
oh, let me tell you, the biggest thing that I have to worry with nowadays that I have in the last 2 years is giving my word to people.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes daddy feels okay. Daddy feels pretty good. Daddy feels like doing something.
Yep.
And I'll go and I'll agree to do like a video or do an interview or do this or do that. And then when it comes time to ante up, I'm sitting there going, fuck, Waylon, you better pull your shit together. We got to do this.
Yeah, right.
And there have been a couple of times where I've had to message him and be like, hey, put this off for a minute or so, just give me some time here on this, I've had to do that on occasion.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I've always had to come full circle and keep my word.
Mm-hmm.
Because the most powerful thing we have at our disposal, I don't care whether you consider yourself magical or not. The most powerful thing that we have at our disposal is our word, our oath, it's
right.
our life. And
I would say that's what we actually have power over. We get to decide what we are going to do, what we're going to put our word behind. And that's what but you have to be responsible. It's a double-edged sword because you got to be responsible for it after that.
Yeah. Well, see, it was like, when I first came up with this idea, and I was like messaging you, and I was like, dude, we so need to do some like Kids in the Hall, some kind of crank anchor bullshit, something like that, some kind of humor. I was in a hell of a bullshit mood.
Yeah, right.
Well, then this morning when I went to go lay down, I was not in a bullshit mood. I was in quite a serious magical mindset. I don't know if it had to do with those 3 planets lining up or whatever, but man, I was able to have my head in the right place where I wanted it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was sitting there and I was like, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to deal with this when I wake up. When I wake up, I'll know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not hard for me to switch gears. That shift in consciousness. It's not hard to do that.
Yep.
But when you're talking about going from being serious to being humorous, that is way bigger of a shift. That's big of a shift to my world.
You just got to go first. You go to center. You're like, whoop. You bring yourself into that, into the no space, I guess. I don't know what to call it. You bring yourself into that center.
Oh, the cool kids got all kinds of words for it, man.
And then after you do that, you just take it and you off kilter it and come back out. Then you'll be in that silly place. That's all you got to do.
I was sitting there and I was like, because I woke up late. I kept setting my alarm later and later and later and later and later. Every now and then I'd answer you on like text, like, yeah, I go right back to sleep. And so I slept like almost 12 hours. And I was like, because I was seriously fucking drained after
Yeah.
last night's workings, and then this morning, like I wrote 2 pages worth of gnosis, and just like that.
Yeah.
I
You were
mean,
in that flow.
yeah, and so when I'm in those mindsets, when I find myself naturally in those mindsets, oh, dude, I break out the notepads and pens, and here we go.
It's
Oh my God,
time.
no, yeah.
Knowledge is coming.
Whether or not I'm doing like I've noticed that I back way the fuck off of rituals. Like I don't do nowhere near the rituals I was doing. But I found that I don't have to. I found that there's a fine line in achieving something I desire. And then about 3 months ago, the spirit started working with me on becoming the desire.
Oh yeah, like embodying it.
Yeah, exactly. So that so it's easier to draw your desire, your object of desire to you, but you have to become that first. And it's really strange because you don't in the state of what I'm talking about, it reminds me of etheric manipulation. You're not focusing on a picture. Like, like, oh, I see my hands and there's mountains of it. And oh my God, I'm a trillionaire. No, it's nothing like that. You're going with feeling. Just straight up feeling, because you have to become the energy first. Now, after you've embodied that energy, then you'll start seeing colors, you'll start seeing shapes, you'll start seeing just really weird stuff.
That's the fun part.
Yeah. and so I sat there this morning and I was like, holy shit, and so I was writing down this lucrative. I call it lucrative because I have no other word for it. It's stuff that honestly there's no proof of.
Yeah, right.
There's no physical proof. There are so many things in our lives that you can and can't prove.
Right.
I'm like, fuck trying at this point. I'm just like, let success be your proof. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, fucking chuck it and go find something that does work for you.
Right. Yeah.
But it's funny though that when I got up and everything and I was like putting my head together and all this other shit, I was like, I could start feeling, the loosening of the reins. I wasn't feeling so intense and serious. And like, raw.
Right.
I was like, oh, it's going to be half decent, man. It's going to be half decent.
You could tell ahead. Well, you always know if you're going to talk to me in the evening, it's just going to be a little kind of like a loosey-goosey conversation.
That's why I love talking with you, because you're probably one of the only people that communicate with that not just like a YouTube content creator, as a friend, as a brother.
Yeah,
I can communicate with. That I literally feel like you'll notice I'm not wearing all my necklaces, rings, and all this other stuff. I don't feel as if I have to project.
Yeah, you're not presenting.
I have armor up.
Right.
And you're one of the few people I'm that way with. That I feel no nothing with. It's just it is what it is, and I much prefer that kind of interaction.
Yeah, and even on the old channel, when you were first introduced, you were introduced as Waylon.
Yeah.
And every time we talk, I'm always like, Waylon is here from the Black Tower. I never call you Aramana Soul.
I am the Sorcerer, Aramana Soul.
Somehow we just have always been like, nope, it's Joe and Waylon whenever we're talking.
And see, I like that. It's like that particular name, back, I think 3 years ago, right at 3, I was given that name. I was given that. And it was really interesting that the force of power that I worked with gave me that name. And I was sitting there going, what? Because like sometimes you question your own sanity. You're like, did I just like take this name of Armon and just add a soul on it? Is it a subconscious thing? Because you're always wondering, you're always questioning,
trying to figure out what it represents.
Yeah, and so like I went nuts. I'll bet you. I went nuts trying to like discern what is a soul, as a prefix, suffix, and so on. And come to find out, it's a ruler.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was kind of interesting that that the ruler comes after the name, and so it's a form of embodying that force of that power.
Oh yeah.
Armon. And I thought that was that. I was like, wow, holy shit, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then began the years of trying to earn or live up to that name.
Right.
Because when you're given a name like that, it's always one of those things where you can invoke it, but it's always one of those things where it's kind of like you're on probation.
This is a
I always
probationary
feel as
name.
if I'm on probation with kids. Like, yeah, we're going to give you this cool little nifty title, and let's see what you do with it, home fry. And then I've got to sit back and be like, who's your G? And so, and of course, at first I was like, this is serious. This is like, an identity, but it's a consciousness identity.
Right.
So as to properly employ it. And then the more and more I used it in magic and stuff, I was realizing that these forces and powers were actually responding and were actually working with it. And I was like, well, holy shit, man, that's pretty powerful. It's pretty cool. And then I would get on and I would do the state, the channel and everything. I am the sorcerer, I'm on school, blah, 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 schmackety, throw the words out there, and I wasn't downplaying the power of that name. But what I was doing was not throwing it out there as end all be all, because the consciousness that it's attached to is more so than the title or the name employed.
Right.
And then I get to meet interesting people like you who have a very sane, rational, down to earth approach and view.
I don't know that everybody would agree with the sane and rational part, but yeah.
Well, I hate to say this, but there is an Arab word called majnoon. Means insane. It's actually the exact translation means possessed by jinn.
Oh yeah.
Now, this is what they this is one of the words that they entitled to the mad Arab. They call it majnoon. Well, I kept thinking about that, and I was like, well, holy fuck! For 24 years, I have done nothing but invoke spirit after spirit after spirit after spirit, constantly surrounding, working, and all this other stuff. And I kept thinking, I might be possessed by a jinn or three,
Yep.
And so I thought that was kind of fitting. But the importance is that so that when you come so far, you literally feel as if maybe, perhaps, you're not all there.
Oh yeah.
Manifestation.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, I talk a lot on my channel about how I've moved out of the overall occult capturings, the wrappings of what would be considered the occult. But I still have those moments where I look in the mirror and I'm like, you're crazy, aren't you?
Yeah. My favorite thing is to go look, I can go to the bathroom or whatever, and I'll look in the mirror, I'll sit there and I'm like, okay, I'm a big proponent of talking to myself. I have to, because the more and more parts and pieces of yourself you unlock, you realize real quickly that you need to create a connection with them, a communication connection, so that you're able to communicate back and forth. It opens up the channels. The problem with that is that you always come across as if you have multiple personalities. And then one time, years and years ago, I came to peace with that. I was like, when someone says, "How are you doing?" "We're just fine." We're just fine.
That's when you embodied the mad Arab right there.
Right? And so I would sit there and, and I'd be like, I'm the spokesperson. I'm the spokesman.
We're gonna start calling you a Lovecraftian folk hero now.
I can dig that. I don't know if I can live up to it, but you know what? I'll accidentally make the mark. Of course, drinking in my beautiful Lion King cup.
It's beautiful.
A golden lion on a black. I mean, dude. And this is supposed to be like the Broadway play, Lion King.
Oh yeah.
Necessarily, the Disney, whatever. Which I love both anyway. Oh Simba, oh Simba.
So you started talking about Corona earlier. I derailed everything, but you were talking about Corona earlier and how people were putting too much power into it, right? And I immediately thought, it's time to start talking gossip about other people who are in the occult. So I was like, yes. So let's talk about a good friend of mine, JD Temple.
I love me some JD.
So do I. He's a good friend of mine. His birthday was just recently. Happy birthday if he was watching this.
Happy birthday, JD. Temple.
But my question, just to put you in the hot seat, is what do you think about, and this is assuming you've been watching some of his recent stuff, but what do you think about him and Orly saying that they're going to, at least they were talking about doing this for Easter, they're going to do some kind of a ritual to take the power of COVID into themselves. What do you think of this idea?
Wasn't that supposed to have already happened?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Easter Sunday. So
what do I think about that?
yeah, what do you think about that? I mean, I have my own ideas about that, but I'm interested in what you think about that. Just to put you in the hot seat. You notice I'm not answering the question. I don't want to get in trouble with JD.
Yeah, you would throw me out on the fire. Like, hey, so what do you think? So I say, oh, what do you think? So I see what Waylon thinks. JD,
throw it shade.
Shit. So JD, if you watching this, brother, know that I love you, no matter my answer. No,
me too.
I'll be honest with you. There are so many levels to approach that concept.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say that I agree, and I cannot say that I disagree with taking in a force or a power like that.
That's very political. That's a very political answer you're giving me.
Well, I'm about to clarify. Clarify is my middle name. Waylon motherfucking Clarify.
That sounds like it's your last name then.
No, Szerzinski's the last name.
Oh, got it.
Waylon motherfucking Clarify Szerzinski.
Nice.
Okay, but anyway, if you're taking it in and you choose to master it, you're going to become its master. You're going to rule over it. Absolutely, that's how you fucking do it. That's exactly how you fucking do it. You have to proclaim yourself as oh fuck man, what 19 years ago when I first started off on the left-hand path, 19, 20 years ago, something like that. One of the things that was brought to my attention is that to defeat a demon, you have to become greater than the demon you're trying to defeat. I understand what I mean by defeat. Defeat doesn't mean, oh, I found you, I've destroyed you, and I've turned you into a bajillion little popsicles.
Right.
No. Defeating is when it no longer holds power over you. That's all. So to be able to have power over something, you have to become greater than that which you're trying to overcome. This is found in the body when it's fighting sickness. Your body's energies have to be higher level, higher vibrational than a sickness, so forth and so on. Well, this goes to colds, so forth and so on. But anyway, so that's one way of doing it. It's kind of like what is it? J.S. Garrett, Barbie Garrett, J.D. I don't remember if J.D. Temple and Orly Stewart were in on. I don't know if they were all four doing that or if that was like.
I think so. And again, now I'm trying to pull from memory. I know that Orly and J.D. were involved in it, but I think J.S. Garrett was too.
I tell you what, there is nothing in magic that you cannot do. There's nothing that is impossible. You just have to figure out how. Okay. So like I was saying, me personally, I fill myself with what I want to be filled with. I would never try to take on something like that unless I had to. If I had to, that would be one thing, but I wouldn't call upon the coronavirus itself. I would call upon the specter of death, what they refer to as the specter of death. What they call the harvester, the reaper, and I would reap the shit out of that motherfucking spirit. After I turned it after I objectified the sickness or disease into a spirit, I would then personify death as a specter, the reaper, the harvester. And I would go through and I would harvest the shit out of it. I would reap the motherfucking hell out of it.
Yeah, kind of a different way to go about it.
See, that's how I would do it. That's not how other practitioners do it. Everybody has their own way of doing stuff. That's what I would do. And the reason why is because it follows in my paradigm of how you defeat something is, you have to be greater than that which you're seeking to destroy. It doesn't matter if it's a trickster spirit. Now, these are my favorites to deal with. Trickster spirits are always interesting. When you have those things that can adapt and change all of a freaking sudden, you're like, wait a minute, hold up, I had you in one form. What are you doing in like 3 or 4 other forms? Well, when you're talking about stuff like that, it's a bit more difficult. But when you're talking about a sickness or a disease that has like a fixed state of being, it's easy.
Well, now it's frozen. He got beat by the coronavirus.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, I hear you now. Okay, cool. I was like, is it me or you that froze? I wasn't sure.
I think it was both of us.
Okay, cool. That worked. Hopefully it's still recording. It says it is.
Yeah, it's been recording the whole time.
Nice. It caught something that I did not. The coronavirus.
Not that. Well, then wouldn't that mean then that it went after the weakest? That's not cool, man. You don't want to speak that kind of shit on yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. It reminds me of a true hunter, a true predator. True predators always go after the weakest. They hunt from the outside in.
I see. I see that you didn't take my bait to go and create an internet beef with JD Temple, though. That's what I saw.
If I wanted to, you know what? It'd probably be humorous, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it probably not like if I wanted to, I'd probably do a roast.
Oh,
you know,
I feel like this is going to be something that in like 2 weeks or whatever, I'm going to see this on his channel.
It would be how this dude's hairstyles have changed over the last year. If I were roasting JD motherfucking Temple.
That's right.
But it would all be out of jealousy because I don't have.
Yeah, I can't have his luscious locks. I can't pull off the makeup. It doesn't look right on me. You know, like when you're bald and you put on like goth type makeup, it's not pretty. Let's just tell you. I'll just say that.
No, I agree with you on that one. But I'll tell you what though, he's looking healthier. He's looking better than he ever has.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's a hell of a fucking improvement. But no, as far as like bait goes, like I said, I think that the only bait-ish answer I could give is that that's not how I would do it.
Right. Okay.
Not necessarily that you can't, but that's not how I would do it.
This is the problem with me interviewing occultists, is that you guys are all nuanced and stuff. Come on now. Looking at both sides, unpolarized. I don't know how I feel about this.
Oh man, dude, you want polarized shit, dude. Fuck, I don't know. I don't. Fuck, dude, it's been a long time since I've had like I have very few, seldom outbursts of singularized viewpoint. That's just straight up. That guy's a fucking idiot type stuff. You know, I do have those on occasion. But it usually deals with people that I'm sitting there going, you did what to who with what, and are they okay?
Yeah, right.
You know, it's kind of like, you know, something that long, use peanut butter. Crunch peanut butter. That might polarize me.
There you go.
But no, getting on, but with that coronavirus thing, I'm glad you brought that up because I've been thinking about that for like 4 days. I'm like, I don't know if I'll do that.
Right.
And then I sat back and I was like, Waylon, you pussy? Come on, man. Come on, man up. Man up.
So you're saying that JD Temple called you out whether you knew it or not. He didn't specifically call you out, but he was like, hey, we could do this. And you were like, what? JD Temple, are you calling me a pussy?
Yeah. Fucking feel like it, man. I was like, ooh, he got more balls than I got. It must be lovely to have three. Must be real lovely to have three.
I wonder, you know, this makes me wonder because I know once in a while JD will catch like a random video of mine and will once in a while throw a comment my way. I wonder if he will catch this one because that would be hilarious.
Oh, if he gets me, I'm so coming back. It's your fault. Fucking Sorcerer did it to me, man. That guy.
That's right.
I just wanted some cornbread, you motherfuckers.
He's like, I came in here just to see what Waylon had to say. These two motherfuckers started making fun of me. They started saying I had 3 balls and shit. This is ridiculous. Can't compliment me on your stream when I'm not on there. That's not acceptable.
People, you only have fun or double the fun, but with JD you get triple the fun.
Yep, that's true.
And I'm just roasting my brother just a little bit. But no, honestly, like I was saying, I cannot say whether that's applicable, whether
Mhm.
that's even feasible, because I'm not doing it. I don't know
Right.
their intent. I don't know their design. The practitioner to practitioner, like I was saying before, nothing's impossible. Here's the thing. I would not do that. But at the same time, I applaud motherfuckers that are like taking initiative.
Yeah, they're
And I'm
trying
like,
stuff out.
well, it's not just that either. It comes from a genuine give a fuck.
Right.
Because there are very few people I've noticed in the occult community. I don't care if they call themselves left hand, right hand, stuck in the middle. I don't care what they call themselves. There's very few that actually care. And the ones who
Right.
do care, I tell you what, I'll back those motherfuckers all the way up to the bank, even if they're fucking wrong. Because the intent. Because intent's going to always give you the result. Intent will always do that. Maybe not the result you want, but it'll always.
That's true. It's going to make a change one way or another.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying, people like that come forth that I've never seen anything out of any of them that's out to harm people. I don't give a shit if
Yeah.
they offer painful workings for hire. Fuck man, dude, they're capable. Go to them, have them do it. You know what I'm saying? If you have a problem you cannot deal with it, find somebody who can help you deal with that. I get that, but the point is that all that it doesn't come from I'm the cringiest, darkest, evilest, bastard
Right.
out there. It comes from a genuine fucking soul who knows their own heart, and
Yeah, definitely.
actually cares. And like I said, whether it works or not, I'm gonna applaud them. I'm gonna back them up all the way. I'm be like, hell yeah, dude, keep going.
And this is something I've said before. I don't know if I've said it on the channel or if I've only said it on my Patreon, which, shout out to my patrons, all that stuff.
Got your patrons.
Yes. But
Mr. Money in the Bank.
That's right. I've talked about before though that, and again, I don't remember if I've talked about it on the channel or not, but at least on there, I've talked about how, to me, you can kind of tell when people's intentions are headed in the right direction. And that's more important to me than what you believe or how you go about doing it. It's always about, where are you focused? You can tell someone's kind of like your ally on this journey, even if they don't believe anything you believe and they think you're full of shit, but they're headed in the same direction. You're like, cool, we can still hang. We're still good.
I know a lot of people that like me and get along with me and absolutely don't understand me. I'm cool with that.
Right.
Kind of like I know a lot of people that I don't understand them. Here's the thing: I don't have to understand them. I don't have to nitpick a person to find out who and what they are. To genuinely be like, hey, that's a cool person.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with JD. Like JD believes in a lot of stuff that I maybe used to believe and don't believe now, but I just love JD, like because I like him. It doesn't really matter what he believes and what I believe. There's not a feud there. It's just like he's a cool guy. His heart's in the right place. It's pretty much all that matters to me. And I've found that that's true with most human beings for me, as I can love people from all sides of the different spectrums, as long as that there's this, I don't know what it is exactly. I can't even describe it. There's just this kind of driving passion, kind of love in your heart or something. But that makes it sound fluffy, and that's not what I mean.
Yeah, well, it was like 4.5, 5 years ago. I began working with Belial.
Mm-hmm.
And I had made a pact or an agreement with Belial. And I didn't hold up to my end. I really didn't. I did not.
That's on you.
But the funny thing is that I still got exactly where I needed to be. And then I caught JD. Hell, it was in the first year me and my wife moved here, got in this place. JD did a online live connection with King Belial.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never seen King Belial. I like visually, like spiritual vision, inner vision, third eye vision, whatever the hell you call it.
Yeah, sure.
King Belial never showed himself. None of that stuff. All I had was a seal on a freaking book and a name, and connect with the spirit just fine. Either did or didn't. Well, so I had my name thrown in the pot, and I was like, over there on the couch, and I had like candles, my incense going whole 9 yards,
Mm-hmm.
Belial. And was sitting there and connected, like had like a full blown like visual
Oh, wow.
explosion.
Nice.
And from that day on, I have involved King Belial in just about everything and anything that I do. Mad props, mad shout outs, honor, offerings, the whole 9 yards. King Belial was probably one of the most beneficial friends, spiritually speaking, that one could have. And I don't mean just, oh, because he helped me get this and helped me get that. No, King Belial actually, like a lot of spirits, they have a lot more to give than just their aid or their help in like a mundane need type thing. And and like a lot of people, sometimes I'm short-sighted that a spirit can actually help you obtain more than physical needs or necessities or means or whatever. And I kept working with him, and he showed me another aspect of himself that I thought was interesting. Lord of the Earth and the Flame is what I refer to King Belial as, because he has that dual nature of fire and earth type thing. So that really resonates with me on a personal level. If I can, somebody's like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I'm like, if it's something that I know for a matter of fact that King Belial can literally help with, and I don't mean just, dealing with the law and stuff like that, because dude, it's true. Like he straight up, if it's a judgment of any sort, King Belial will sort that shit. But you have to you have to have some kind of relationship with him. He doesn't mind coming in and showing you, hey, I am capable of this, but not because you want him to. So, I never knew how to explain that or express that. So anyway, working with King Belial, and I can only thank JD Temple for that, because, I know for a matter of fact that the universe puts you in the right place at the right time, whether you're perusing the internet or, this other stuff. Well, meanwhile, while everybody's got these fancy phones and shit, and they're keeping up with everybody and all this other stuff, I literally have to manually turn on my computer. So if you message me, if you haven't texted me on my cell phone, which is low tech as shit, I don't know you're trying to reach out to me. So I have to manually cut on my computer, and all this other stuff. So you can imagine how many circuits Spirit has to make just to connect with me, just to get me there. So see, that was kind of interesting. Being in the right place, right time, so forth and so on. And so I continuously, I live by that. I live with that. I live like that. Let Spirit guide, because that's usually the best way. And I can't do anything but thank JD for that. And then I was able to actually literally return the favor about a year after that. And so I got him for a quick 30-minute video time frame and did a ritual for him, personal ritual just for him, just to say thank you, to help him overcome some shit he was working on, or whatever the situation was, which I won't go into detail because that's his business, not mine. It's not mine to share. So I was
again with this. I'm interviewing occultists all the time. What am I thinking? You got morals, you got values, you actually keep in client confidentiality. Come on, man.
Well, I figured
this is why occultists don't get interviewed.
Right. It's like, where's the drama? Where's the shit pot stirring?
That's right. Where's our reality TV style stuff going on here?
I try so hard to stay away from people like that. I swear I can't stand that shit, man. It's like, this person did this and this person did that, and they gotta make videos on it, and blah blah blah. And I'm meanwhile sitting there going, how awakened is you? It's okay. It's okay. But you know what though? One thing I do agree on is that sometimes you got to put a motherfucker in place. So I do understand, pointing out things. I get that. I understand that.
That's it. Now we're getting to the juicy part.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for all that, man. And, sometimes you gotta, when a person does you wrong or does a group of people wrong, put it out there. Hey, such and such is offering such and such, but they're not doing the work, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this, or was causing problems, division, stuff like that. And then we sit back and we look at it, and then everything starts to divide in cliques and groups.
Yeah.
That's why I stay the hell away from it, is because of that one point right there. There's enough division in this world, in this universe, that what the fuck? That's manifesting reality. No, I choose a different reality to manifest than that one.
Yeah, I know when I was in it, there was plenty of opportunities to switch from being kind of solitary, as I was the whole time, to being part of a group or being part of a coven or whatever you want to call it, depending on which particular branch I was going down at the time. And every time I kind of like dipped a toe in, and I just didn't like how the water felt whenever I tried to add other people into that mix. It just wasn't my bag.
You know, it's such a thing to ask somebody their opinion or their thoughts on a thing. And it's completely different to take that advice, mull it over, think it over, take the parts and pieces that you can from it.
Right.
But when you react, lots of times you can't take that back. You can't take that back. And so I abide by the same rules as taking advice as I do reacting. Reacting, I take my time, mull it over, think about it before I just go open my mouth. You know, it's like, you know, in the frying pan, so to speak. You know, I was like, oh, the worst I do is toast my boy. You know, that would be the worst I would do. Just, you know, I would toast him. You know, but I would do that in good taste. You know,
I'm telling you, whatever. So we know it was very recently. It was JD Temple's birthday, so that means we have to figure out what day it was exactly, and then next year set up a roast on that day.
Or a post-birthday bash roast.
Yeah, there you go. An Easter roast. An Easter roast.
Yeah.
Of JD Temple. Oh no, I'm sorry, of JD motherfucking Temple.
JD motherfucking Temple. Yeah, you
and if anyone watching this doesn't know who JD Temple is, that's their problem.
Yeah, light department. I've been keeping up with him since wow, it's been years. Holy crap, I didn't know it'd been that long. The first set of videos where I was ever introduced to JD was years ago. He'd done a video review with about EA Quitting's Magic Camp.
Yep, the boot camp.
And his experience of going down off in a cave and everything else, and that experience. Well, I've been following him ever since on YouTube and anywhere else I find him, because I was like, you know, this is a guy like for serious. And I watched him go from that to what he is now. So, whew, man,
yeah, he's on the journey.
Boy, supposed to be strong with you.
I guess that's the thing I'm talking about too. Is like there's kind of this journey of the self that happens, and you don't have to be an occultist to be on it. Because, you know, again, I don't necessarily consider myself an occultist anymore, but I would still consider myself on the journey of the self. I would still say I'm on this same path that I've been on. Almost like once you're on it, you can't get off of it type of thing.
You're on a journey of ascension and becoming, brother. Whether you label it, whether you color it, whether you set a program or a format about it.
Right. Right. So the process continues once you start this process, but you don't have to be an occultist to do it. So I've met people who aren't in the occult who are on the path, as I would put it. And again, I consider myself not an occultist now, but I would still consider myself on the path based on the way my brain just is working at things and trying to sort things out and get into this state of just, you know, changing your perspectives and accepting new perspectives and growing and all of this sort of stuff. And you see it in other people, whether they've ever even read an occult book or not, but you just recognize it when you see it in other people. You're like, yeah, that person's on the path too.
Yeah, it's like years ago when I first found your channel, and was keeping up with it. Like literally, I have literally paused your videos and took notes on your 4 quarter callings and things you would say at them. I set my weakness and blah blah blah. And you were the first person I ever seen on a YouTube page in a video setting admit to the negative aspects of self.
Right.
Everybody, they're so busy covering themselves in greatness and perfection that they forget their imperfections are what makes them perfect.
Yeah.
We're only as strong as we are weak, you know, and I'm not saying that it's a call to arms to go out there and become the weakest. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying find your limitations, find your weaknesses, know them inside and out, accept them, embrace them, release them.
And that's exactly the stuff I'm talking about. You can do that without touching a single occult book. You can listen to what you're saying right there and translate it into the psychological, and it works just as fine. But if you're interested in that, if you hear that and you're like, yeah, I want to work on that, and you work towards change and knowing the self and all that stuff, it really doesn't matter. I've found it doesn't seem to matter whether you were in the occult or not. You still are on this path towards this transformation of the self, for lack of a better. Again, I use the occult terms because I don't. That's what I learned it. That's how I learned it.
Yeah, it's an
But this,
alchemical act in motion.
right?
You know, and that's one of the cool things about you is that people like you, it's perfect because you're not inundated with all the dross and all the crap that comes with the magical scene and the got to keep up with the Joneses, and all this other shit. You just
I don't got to be the strongest guy on the block. Like, check out my magical powers.
Yes, it's more organic. Even in the beginning, I had a natural spiritual aspect of self that, like, I was in tune with this shit, like, from the word go. I had been my whole entire fucking life, just, hadn't quite put it in that category, hadn't quite thought it out. Why do I know the things I know? Why do I, have the experiences I'm having? And it's part of not knowing yourself. But as I started, on the path, dude, I felt that to make sense of everything I was everything that I was picking up on and learning, I was like, holy crap, this is magic. This is the heart. This is the root of magical practice. And then I went to reading magical books on ritual, so forth and so on, the doctrines, liturgy, the whole 9 yards. And I wanted to figure out if what I was doing was the same thing as what all these other motherfuckers have been writing all these books on for like for hundreds of years.
Right. Yeah.
And then I was like, holy crap, it is, man, dude. I was already on the path way before it was a path or before it was known. And I think that there comes a point where I think that if you're at that level, if you can maintain that level without becoming something you're not.
Yes, that's the hard part.
That's where you're keeping it. That's where you're keeping it organic, or as one of my own personal friends and viewers, D Moon, likes to say, keeping it raw.
Yep. If you can get to the point where you can kind of look at what other people are telling you and see that similarity in everybody else, whether they're involved in the same belief structure as you or a completely different one, and you start seeing behind that, I don't know what to call it than a mask for better purposes. You can see behind this, like, this is their structure they've put up to explain it. And you just look at the core of what they're saying and you can see, like, that still is the same thing I'm experiencing. When you get to that point, and really, you only really understand that if you've gotten to that point. Like, when you get to that point where you can listen to somebody else and you're like, your beliefs are different than mine, but yet we're still 100% on the same path, doing the same thing, walking down the same road, heading in the same direction. It's a beautiful thing, and it happens on its own. You can't force that.
Yeah. And I would seriously suggest to anybody out there, enjoy the ride. It's about the journey. It's not about the stuff on the side. I digress having to use terminology that comes from the Bible. Well, who was it? Who was it that Jesus said, "Come to me, walking on the water and stuff"? Down in Thomas, I think.
Yep.
And he was like, when he was explaining to him why he failed or why he was sinking, he was like, because you're paying too much, you're not focused on me. Well, if you break that down into a everyday, just how we can apply that, it's what are you focused on? Because as long as you stay focused, the rest of it should be noise. That's all it is. It's just noise. And you got to learn to tune it out, to ignore it. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep following the path you're following.
Now I'm going to be the voice of the comments. That's not sinister, Waylon. That wasn't sinister.
I'll tell you what is sinister. I'll tell you what is sinister, and that's taking a page out of Satanism, and that's self-preservation. That's sinister. Self-preservation is sinister because, man, you will. In that particular aspect of learning, your limits of how far you will sacrifice and how far you will not. That's sobering. That is fucking sobering.
Nice.
When you truly are tested to know the limits of your giving, that shit can surprise you. That shit can really surprise you. I I learned a long time ago. I used to think, oh, is this great big, just expensive being and blah, 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 and yakety schmacky. And then after a while, I went to realizing that, I will only extend so far.
Right.
Even on this level, I will only extend so far. Problem is back then I allowed too much to run me over, too much to overtake me, and so forth and so on. I never bitch or whine about it because, it is what it is. But, I was always trying to seek a balance.
Right.
A harmonious balance. And so it was difficult shit. And when I got tested, I had no idea that I was that way. I had no idea that I was not the all-encompassing, selfless
Right.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
And so that to me was probably the deepest. That was probably when the light and the darkness came to me. Was when I understood that.
Right.
And that was sobering and balancing at the same time. Allowed me to understand. Hey, if it comes between me or you, it's always going to be me. It's always going to be me.
That's where you switch from the light and fluffy.
Yeah, right.
So on an airplane, they'll tell you if those masks pop down, that the mother should put it on her face, or father, but the picture's always a lady because we're sexist as shit in this country. But
it's because we have to preserve that which sustains our race.
Right. That's true. So when the mask comes down, you put it on yourself first, and then you put it on your kid. Because if you put it on your kid first, you might die, and then no one can help them get off the plane later. And, they're not going to be able to put it on your face. So it just makes logical sense. You put it on yours.
I never quite looked at airplanes the same way now.
Yeah. But if you look at that, it's almost like saying you need to do a certain level of self-preservation first before you can help someone else. And I've always found that to be true. So as much as self-preservation can be sinister, especially if it gets overdrawn.
If the right situation presents itself.
Right.
Yeah, with the Sinister series, that's what I was trying to, that's what I'm trying to encapsulate or expand upon or expound or whatever the word is.
Yeah.
Isn't necessarily self-preservation, but it's those things like, I say that every act is, is preceded by a infernal act.
Right. Right.
An act of desecrating, an act of blasphemy. And the
that's kind of like the old LaVey Satanist version of things, where it's like using the blasphemy to kind of promote and encourage your own will over top of this past teaching and things like that, to break the Christian dogma over people, things like that. But in this case, not specifically Christian, but just dogmatic thinking in general.
I think it's interesting that if you first and foremost, and this is something I don't explain or express too much, but it's something that I think that each individual should come from, is you have to start from your own sovereignty.
Right.
It's the very first thing. That's where you need to start. That's where it starts. That's where it ends, is with your own sovereignty. So when you're doing these acts, you're coming from a complete and total, or as close as possible, a neutral point of origin in these workings. It's considered blasphemous not because you hold hate and angst in your heart.
Right.
It's blasphemous because it goes against the order and the rules and the laws set by the world, by society.
And there's a feeling to it too, because if it's going to actually work, you're going to feel like you did something dirty. You're going to have that feeling like, whoo, that was blasphemy. And if you don't have that feeling, you're not really blaspheming. You're just saying things that other people would find not good to hear or whatever. It's not the same. It has to be something that actually makes you feel like, ooh, for a minute, to have that oomph. At least that's in my experience.
2.5 years ago, I was in the middle of working in the Necronomicon, in the gate walking, the actual physical gate walking. I've been working with this book for over 20 fucking years. But it was the first time that I was actually in a place in my life where I could literally physically do the gate walk, like as prescribed in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so I began doing these. And I think about the third or fourth gate in. This is after the four agreements of the what they call elemental agreements, or the four agreements of self.
Yep.
The X, the foundation. My viewers will know what the hell that is.
Yep. we've gone actually very lightly on even explaining anything. We just kind of dove right in this conversation. I'm like, you know what? If you don't get it, go watch the other interview.
Yeah, go check it out.
Go back. You'll figure out what we're talking about. Some people are like, why are you talking occult stuff? I thought you said you're out of the occult. It's like, dude, this is my buddy. We're talking just regular. This is how I just talk to people regular.
Yeah, same
how
here.
The conversations go.
Fuck yeah. Because it's just keeping a natural free flow, and this is two friends, two brothers just sitting there shooting shit, talking.
Mm-hmm. So, this is exactly how the conversation would be if I wasn't recording it.
Exactly. But the thing is, though, is that so I was like a third, fourth, fifth gate in, something. I don't remember the exact in and outs of it. And I remember one night I was just.
Is this based? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Is this based on kind of like the Babylonian gates? Is that the idea, like the underworld and Nana travel type of idea?
Based on the Simon Necronomicon.
A lot of that is based on Babylonian, so I'm just going to assume that it is.
It's a smattering.
Yeah, they kind of took their own reference on how much Babylonian they wanted to take. I just know. The mythological the person who likes studying myth in me was like, wait, are you talking about when Inanna went through the different gates into the underworld and went up against Ereshkigal? And that's just how my brain goes.
It is crazy with the Necronomicon. You have to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. You have to have an idea of so many different things,
right,
to even comprehend how that book can even be useful. You know?
That sounds like a book I would write.
Or an exorcism, or something like that. But sometime during this time, I was overcome with and I can only refer to it as the sinister urge. And I think I may have even named the video.
How many? Again, I just keep interrupting you. I'm sorry, but how many gates are there in the process? Is it 7?
There's 7 for the Zonai.
Mm-hmm.
There's 12 traditionally, but 13 of the Azanai.
Oh, so we got all kinds of gates going on.
Yeah, and then you've got the Gate of the Underworld, which is in 2 parts. So forth and so on. So like cray stuff going on there. And then you have the gate to the outside, which is to the old ones, which is Ganzir as Otherworld, not Ganzir as Underworld.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, and then there's different layers in the Underworld. So.
That's the interesting thing about the Necronomicon, because I have a copy, but I've if I was like, I'm a knowledgeable occultist of the Necronomicon, then I would just be pulling people's legs, because I have skimmed through it, and that's probably as good as I've done. And everything else I know about the Simon Necronomicon would have to be from your channel. And everything I know about Necronomicon in general is either from Lovecraft or it's from the Evil Dead movies and stuff like that.
Oh, fucking love me some Bruce motherfucking Campbell.
Mm-hmm. That's just what we call pillow talk, baby.
Yeah. Right? Ash. But no, it's
So what? I'm sorry. So what is the gate? So you were on the 5th gate, but what is the purpose of the ritual?
So the gates are to open the gates to ascend to their sphere.
Okay, cool.
And you are met by the guardian.
Is it planetary or is it something else?
Yeah, Zonai are planet.
Okay, cool.
So the Zonai is fixed, whereas Azanai means not fixed. Meaning one moves, one doesn't.
Gotcha.
So think of the difference between angels and demons, and you've got this, and the concept of, and the broad scope of it. So anyway, so you enter the sphere, go up in like the spirit vision, you meet the guardian of the gate of whatever, commune, learn what it is you're supposed to learn, find out whatever you're finding out, because the experience is independent and different for everybody. It's never the same for anybody. And then at the end, you're given a word or a phrase or something like that is your password to the next gate, meaning that you've passed this one. Okay.
Right.
So forth and so on.
I've done that with sort of like a tree of life type of path before, so I get the idea.
is it cleanses and purifies. It purifies the temple.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the initial seven gates does. Is it prepares the vessel
Right. Gotcha.
for the current or the power of the forces to be awakened.
Is it kind of
Uh,
like a void type of thing? You're trying to void out everything, or
Sort of,
is it?
kind of. The whole entire freaking system and book is all based on the grave. It's all based on death. Every single bit of it.
Got it. Okay.
Everything from spirits to angels. I mean, to the excuse me, to the Gigi, to the Dean Gear, to the Gadim of the underworld, toward the gods and goddesses. I mean, all the forces of power. You start off in light and you wind up in darkness. So that's kind of interesting that it's completely backwards in most magical systems. Most magical systems, oh, quit the night and seek the day. And I'm like, fuck that, bitches. It's all about the fall.
Well, it depends because some of them are circular. Sometimes you go
Now,
night to day, night to day, night to day. You go to death and rebirth.
the difference is, though, is that it has to do with the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
The mentality of the ancient people are not the mentality we have today.
Oh,
Nowadays,
oh, oh, yeah.
the mentality we have today, me.
Yeah, that's not how it used to work.
Ancients, we. And so the collective was empowered and strengthened and taken care of and preserved. And everybody had their role, everybody had their place, everybody had their job.
Well, people hear about the Mayans doing human sacrifice and they freak out, like, oh man, what a horrible people it must have been. And it's like, dude,
Yeah,
the sacrifices were like revered. They wanted
unless
to
you
be
were in that day and
sacrifices.
age and you understood what that was about.
Right.
You know, there was nothing more glorious than being chosen to be
Mm-hmm.
sacrificed because
Yeah.
you were guaranteed immortality in a place amongst their gods.
You had ultimate purpose.
Dude, these people were like, they weren't fools, which means they weren't, falling for some trick or lie of the priest, just so that they could kill them without a fight. It had nothing to do with that. Because once again, you're talking about the ancient ways versus modern ways. And that
Right.
nowadays, man, people be like, "Oh, sacrifice myself." No, but you put
Yeah,
up.
right. And
You
hey, I might be
sacrifice
like
your life.
romanticizing it right here.
If you
Like,
sacrifice your life for your child, well, of course, who the fuck
right.
wouldn't do that? But
Mm-hmm.
would you sacrifice your life for a God that may or may not fucking be? This is the difference.
Right.
This
And
is
if
why
you
people
really
are not.
believed, as
This
they
is
did
why
in the
people are not
past,
strong in spirits. This is
right?
why people aren't strong in magic is because they don't hold that power.
If you really believe what they believed back then, that this sacrifice would be the difference between whether the entire city had a good harvest. And these
Yeah.
people are like your kin to you. It's like your family, your kids.
Or, and here's the tricky thing, even protected from outside, because there were times when people were sacrificed
Mm-hmm.
in the lean months of the year because there wouldn't be enough food, and there would be people who would gladly, proudly, because they were part of the tribe and they believed in the sustaining.
Right.
They would sacrifice their own life so that others could eat and make it through the winter.
Yeah.
You don't find that. People are, like I said, they're so me oriented. They're not.
Yeah, the culture is completely
They're
different
not
than in the old
strong
days.
in these spirits anymore. They're not strong. They're not strong because they don't. And it's not that you have to believe or think like these people did, but it was where they were coming from is what allowed their gods to walk amongst them. Our gods don't walk amongst us anymore. And and I've been working on changing this for fuck, it's been a while. Like that was my goal, period, of doing the things I do, even before YouTube and all this other stuff is social media shit, is that, may the gods walk again. And part of it is you have to strengthen your connection with them. You have to strengthen your connection with the land, with people, so forth and so on. It doesn't mean that, it's all about some, oh, we're going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya around the campfire.
It's actually very different. You're going to put someone in the campfire. That's what I mean when I say like this stuff is like, it's not kumbaya love, but it's just about something greater than the self. But I was listening to you speak, and there was a part, because there's always a part of me that's like, yeah, I'm right on this, and a part of me that's silly. It just comes in, and I immediately thought, this is the title for this episode. It probably won't be, but I was like, this is the title for this when it goes up, and it's Waylon, Black Sorcerer, Left Hand Path, says people are too selfish nowadays. It's like the exact opposite of what people think of the left-hand path is standing for.
They Stay in your lane, bro. Stay in your lane. Oh
But you're
man, dude.
speaking some truth. I mean, we look in the past a lot, and this is something I didn't know until maybe the past 3-4 years. It's something that's become blatantly obvious to me now, but when I was younger, I didn't know that we look in the past with the eyes of the present, and it's just not correct. You're not looking at it from the point of view of the people of that time period. And when you even trying to do that is kind of a mind fuck, for lack of a better way to put it, because you have to get out of your perspective to an even greater level than just agreeing with someone you disagree with now. Because most of the things that you guys still agree on is pretty constant, but you've got to go way farther from that. So I think for common people, it's actually, and there's not common people and uncommon people, but for like a lot of people, it's really hard to get out of your headspace and go into the mind of what the ancients thought, the way that they viewed the world.
You know, earlier you were asking me about JD Temple and all them and all that stuff that they're doing.
Oh no, you're gonna turn it around on me.
Oh, I am. I am. I'm gonna turn the little short bus around. I'm all back of the bus and shit. It's a short bus.
I like it.
It is. But no, the thing is that they're doing these works for the people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's how you know that the gods are coming back, that they are awakening, that they are coming back amongst people. When you start seeing acts like that, you know, by, you know, uh, I think the biggest hem haul that you get out of the whole thing is people's thing about whether they should charge for this or charge for that, you know, all this stuff, you know, well, if it's for us, why are they charged, blah, blah, blah. Well, let me throw some fuel on the fire if I can. You have to survive. You have to make it. And if you have somebody that has the ability and the skills to do this stuff, man, you know that takes materials and that takes time and energy and so forth. So I mean, anybody can claim that they can do this, but the ones who can really do this, you know, they're kind of in short supply. So when you find somebody like that that's charging, and they're not even really charging a arm and a freaking leg. You know what I'm saying? But the point isn't about how much or any of that. The point is that, you know, even in the most ancient of days, they don't know if people realize this, but the priests were actually taken care of by the people. The shaman, the holy woman, you know, the wise man, wise woman, the what they call hedge witches, stuff like this. People knew who to go to convene, to converse with their gods and stuff, man, and they took care of those people.
I'm going to bring up a name that you and I have talked about off camera before, which is Milton Knowles. I'm going to say this wrong. The Insane Witch King, is that it?
Yes, and the first time I saw his change of the Insane Witch King, I thought it said the Insane Sandwich King. And I was like, dude, that's a hell of a name. I like it.
I think he should change it to the Insane Sandwich King, because I would still be just as happy to watch his coronavirus days one at a time.
Dude, I keep up with that. I fucking love Milton.
But I'm getting sidetracked again. The point was, he was talking to me because I did a video recently about how a lot of the people of the past would talk about dreams as being the astral, and we intermix that with current day astral travel concepts, and they really are different. You know, what they were talking about was more like dream states and things like that. And he pointed out to me, and this was really interesting, that a lot of shamans from the old days would refer to the village as being the world of man, and the forest and everything outside is the world of the spirits. So if you were traveling into the spirit world, it just meant you were leaving society behind and going out into the real world.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that just suddenly, it just clicked a lot of stuff for me of like, oh, okay, so when you're talking about what you went out and found in the spirit world, I mean, you went out into nature and spent time away from all of this shit and came to conclusions and then come back and bring it back to the people. That's the role that the shaman played, along with the medicine person, along with the psychologist or psychiatrist, along with the advisor. You know, she is this person that fills that role in society at that time.
Yeah, your home, your place is the known.
Right.
Anything outside your door is the unknown, because it can change. You never freaking know. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I was like, I got to capture this moment and tell you that this is what he showed me. because it related to what you were saying. But now we can go on and talk about COVID and whatever. I was like, I got to stop you because I got to say this point.
No, dude, Milton is the shit. First, second off, I want to do a video with him and Goat. I want Goat on my channel. Eat the ball. The end is near. Barbecue sauce.
Yep.
You know,
make it happen.
Barbecue sauce, cannibalism, barbecue sauce. Except the fact of the matter is the motherfuckers I'd have to eat, I'm not eating. They some nasty motherfuckers.
Well,
and I don't think barbecue sauce is gonna change
that. I was talking to Milton in the comments once in a while, and I didn't realize he did videos also. I just thought like, oh yeah, I'm just talking to somebody, and I was getting to know him, and I was like, this guy's a pretty cool guy. And then all of a sudden, he makes a comment at one point that's like, well, the world must be insane because how else do you explain my videos? And I was like, okay, cool. Click on you. Watched a couple, was like, subscribe. Like, all right, cool. Now I'm a subscriber to his channel. So, and apparently he was telling me just, I want to say it was today, but it won't be today when this is shown to other people. But, you know, today for us, that he just hit like 55 subs and he's only been up for whatever, 20 days or however long it's been. I'm like, man, he's rapidly rising, but I think he should be.
Oh yeah, I do too. I like his. He's the first person I've seen that'll show off his magical books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting. You know, whether or not he got it from another book or whatever. My point thing is that that's an introduction to somebody's person, and so I thought that was unique.
He was showing traps and shit. I was like, you know what? If the apocalypse comes, I got to find this guy because he knows how to trap some food. This guy's going to teach me a thing or two.
Dude, I was thinking the same thing when I saw that video on that. With all that, I was like, well, no, that's perfect to go in a book like that because that's how you're going to survive. You know.
Yep. When the internet fails, he's still got all the drawings right there.
Hell yeah.
Do you have anything else you wanted to say before we cut off since you got your company coming?
I'm just going to be, okay, just straight up. Don't take everything so damn serious. It's one thing to be mindful of a thing, but shit's gonna come and go. You know?
Yep.
You just take it as it comes. Take it as you can. You know. Be prepared, and whatever you're not prepared for, I mean, at least be fluid enough to where you can shift and change and do what's necessary. But don't stress it over. Don't keep it in your head. You know.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Oh.
It was always good talking to you.
Hell yeah.
And then again, since we're doing like behind the scenes / in the scenes, I'm obviously going to say goodbye to you for the camera and then talk to you for another minute after the camera's on. Sorry, YouTube, you don't get that scene.
Hell, Satan.
So take care, everybody. Safe travels and all that.
Drink more water.